Beneath forests, mountains, and cities of Nazi-controlled Europe, entire underground worlds were built in secrecy.
As Allied bombing intensified, Nazi leadership became obsessed with the underground, believing that survival meant disappearing beneath the earth.
These vast underground complexes were built at immense human cost, carved by prisoners of war and concentration camp inmates. These bases were designed as self-contained worlds, capable of operating even if the surface above was reduced to
German engineering focused on thickness, depth, and redundancy, turning bunkers into fortresses buried under meters of rock.
These doors were built to seal entire sections instantly, isolating damage and preserving command centers during bombardment.
Troops stationed below ground trained to fight, work, and sleep without sunlight, sometimes for weeks at a time.
Power was the lifeblood of these hidden bases, keeping lights on, air flowing, and machines running. Water supplies were carefully planned, allowing bases to remain sealed for extended periods. These underground depots stored weapons meant to sustain prolonged defense or last-ditch counterattacks.
Rail systems were built beneath the surface to move men and material unseen by enemy aircraft. Secrecy was as valuable as steel and concrete.
Some of these bases served as nerve centers for entire regions. Decisions affecting millions were made far below the battlefield.
Communication links were buried deep to protect them from destruction.
Planners expected casualties even below ground, preparing operating rooms in the dark. The narration highlights how
food stockpiles were calculated to last months.
Some bases were designed to support war production, hidden from Allied bombers. Industry itself was driven into the earth.
These caverns were intended to house entire factories or weapon systems, underground spaces as large as cathedrals. This secrecy was enforced with strict security, controlled, and access that fear of discovery haunted every entrance.
How deception extended above ground, disguising the very existence of these bases. Fuel was essential for generators, vehicles, and potential counterattacks. A single spark could doom an entire complex.
Depth itself was a defensive weapon, placing leadership far beyond the reach of bombs. This depth also symbolized emotional distance from the surface war.
These underground bases repeatedly tested by Allied bombing campaigns. There were moments when collapse seemed imminent.
Despite massive construction, underground structures were never invulnerable. Nature and sustained bombing constantly threatened failure. Construction continued even as Germany's situation worsened. Desperation drove projects forward long after victory was impossible.
Constant assessment was necessary to keep these underground worlds alive.
Psychological pressure was intense, with darkness and confinement eroding morale. The narrator notes that fear followed soldiers even into supposed safety.
Readiness was constant. An attack could come at any moment. The underground demanded discipline and speed. Even mundane routines took on heightened importance underground. Routine was a fragile defense against fear.
Bases were designed to sustain fighting power even when surface facilities were destroyed. The war, they believed, could be fought from below.
The sheer scale of these complexes often disoriented those inside. Getting lost underground was a constant risk.
Groundwater was a relentless enemy. Nature constantly threatened to reclaim these spaces.
Combat underground required different tactics and instincts. It demanded preparation for a war few ever fought.
Multiple clandestine exits were engineered beneath the facility, providing escape routes or discreet conduits for vital resupply.
Many of these bases were prepared for future battles that never occurred.
As Allied forces advanced, these bases became symbols of retreat rather than strength.
As the front lines moved closer, the underground world grew more crowded. Anxiety and confusion were rising rapidly among the populace.
Construction continued even as defeat loomed. It was an act of denial and desperation. Many strategies, like these theoretical, ultimately buried with the bases themselves.
As Germany collapsed, many bases were simply left behind.
The Allies were often stunned by the scale of what they found underground. The sheer size, intricacy, their ambition of
These discoveries offered insight into German fears and priorities. Much had been built for a future that never arrived. Many bases were damaged beyond use by bombing or sabotage. The narration emphasizes the fragility of even the deepest defenses.
For many, the underground was a place of suffering rather than protection. The human cost remained hidden below ground.
The war ended before many underground plans could be realized. A sudden emptiness filled the space that was once frantic with activity. Many military bases and tunnels were deliberately sealed or forgotten after the war. How quickly nature began reclaiming them.
These underground bases became historical evidence of fear-driven ambition. The narration connects past paranoia to present understanding.
Many questions remain unanswered about what plans and secrets still burned within forgotten spaces. These underground bases were monuments to war imagined to last forever, utterly pointless. Above ground, life moved on, often unaware of what lay beneath. These bases, prepared with meticulous care, were intended as a stark reminder that even thorough preparation cannot alter destiny. These spaces remain as warnings carved into stone. The narrator reflects on obsession with survival at any cost. The underground bases stand as reminders of fear, ambition, and collapse.
After the surrender, these hidden complexes became objects of intense study. Understanding them meant
Many tunnels had been deliberately locked from the inside. Some spaces had remained untouched since the final days of the Reich.
Without constant maintenance, nature reclaimed these fortresses quickly. Water erased boundaries between engineering and ruin. Bases were destroyed intentionally to prevent reuse by remaining enemy forces. Even after victory, the fear of future conflict shaped our decisions. Many underground projects were incomplete when the war ended. Ambition outpaced reality. These plans revealed expectations of prolonged resistance. Germany had prepared to fight from beneath the earth long after surface defeat. The collapse forced a hurried abandonment, leaving behind only the loneliness in spaces once crowded with life.
Without airflow, underground bases quickly became uninhabitable. Survival depended on constant motion and upkeep.
Production lines stopped abruptly as defeat arrived. A sudden end to the relentless labor.
These images would later inform public understanding of the underground war. Proof was needed to comprehend the scale of what lay hidden.
Even Sentinel intact bases often harbored hidden weakenings. Wartime construction.
The silence that now fills these subterranean halls tells a stark story. Once,
logistical lifelines were severed permanently. Without movement, underground worlds ceased to function. Many were stunned by the scale hidden beneath ordinary landscapes. The narration contrasts open skies with buried fear. Secrecy had been so complete that even locals often knew nothing. War reshaped geography invisibly. Many sites were closed forever. Forgetting was seen as safer than remembering.
The instability of these former tunnel sites made exploration extremely dangerous. The remnants of
time has transformed these chambered chambers from World War I fortress into underground caverns reflect on nature's patience.
These spaces became classrooms carved in stone. We must learn from what fear created.
Every marking told a story of urgency and order. That organization persisted even in desperation. When the generators fell silent, the underground world ceased in an instant. Life below was extinguished. These catastrophic failures sealed the fate of entire underground complexes, trapping personnel and equipment. Some bases vanished from memory entirely. History can hide itself underground.
War reshaped space both above and below ground. Strategic thinking taken to extremes.
These doors were built to withstand bombs, not time. Decay is inevitable.
Without constant maintenance, gravity reclaimed every tunnel, every subterranean passage.
Memory bridges past and present, revealing the continuity of history beneath the surface.
These spaces carried the heaviest suffering. Honors thee those forced to build.
Beneath the surface, healing and death occurred side by side. These were the grim realities hidden from view.
Weeks and months were spent in preparation.
In the heart of the Reich, planners imagined a different future.
Nature offers no remembrance. It forgets.
Lies not just rubble, but the stark, urgent memory of what was lost, and what must never be forgotten.
The alarms and commands that once echoed here have been replaced by an unsettling silence, a calm after the chaos of war.
Technology ages faster than stone.
Structures forged for war now resemble caves, silent testaments to transformation.
Darkness hides both fear and history. After defeat, direction losing all meaning. The compass spin wildly in the minds of the lost. Abandonment invites decay.
These marks are signatures of forced labor. Honor the unseen hands that created them.
Scale alone could not change it fate mlastions and the limits of power.
The retreat, the tactical retreat, eventually morphed into final abandonment. A final abandonment of the position.
The war has profoundly reshaped both landscapes above and below ground.
The calm exterior of these hills masks a buried history. Unseen scars remain hidden beneath the peaceful terrain.
In these quiet moments, the silence itself speaks volumes, inviting us to reflect on the echoes of the past. Neglect completes what war began.
The underground war never truly began.
Even concrete cannot resist time.
Secrecy ended in silence.
Life, oblivious and resilient, continued its quiet rhythm above the buried fears. These subterranean bases, remnants of bygone conflict, stand as stark warning.
Ambition without restraint leads to ruin.
The war ended, but its underground scars remain hidden beneath the earth.